He goes, I've noticed a little thing between you and Brett.
What?
Nothing.
No matter what happens, I want you all to stay together, and I want you to do what you need to do to get out of here. Don't worry about me. Help as you can if you can. But mostly worry about yourselves, okay?
I'm not leaving you alone. You can do this.
If anything happens, I want to know that you will be okay.
I'll be safe.
matter what happens, I want you all to stay together, and I want you to do what you need to do to get out of here. Don't worry about me. Help as you can if you can. But mostly worry about yourselves, okay?
I'm not leaving you alone. You can do this.
If anything happens, I want to know that you will be okay.
I'll be safe.
Actually, he flips the conversation. He goes, I've noticed a little thing between you and Brett.
What?
Nothing.
No matter what happens, I want you all to stay together, and I want you to do what you need to do to get out of here. Don't worry about me. Help as you can if you can. But mostly worry about yourselves, okay?
I'm not leaving you alone. You can do this.
If anything happens, I want to know that you will be okay.
I'll be safe.
noticed a little thing between you and Brett.
What?
Nothing.
No matter what happens, I want you all to stay together, and I want you to do what you need to do to get out of here. Don't worry about me. Help as you can if you can. But mostly worry about yourselves, okay?
I'm not leaving you alone. You can do this.
If anything happens, I want to know that you will be okay.
I'll be safe.
Actually, he flips the conversation. He goes, I've noticed a little thing between you and Brett.
What?
Nothing.
No matter what happens, I want you all to stay together, and I want you to do what you need to do to get out of here. Don't worry about me. Help as you can if you can. But mostly worry about yourselves, okay?
I'm not leaving you alone. You can do this.
If anything happens, I want to know that you will be okay.
I'll be safe.
Actually, he flips the conversation. He goes, I've noticed a little thing between you and Brett.
What?
Nothing, nothing.
No matter what happens, I want you all to stay together, and I want you to do what you need to do to get out of here. Don't worry about me. Help as you can if you can. But mostly worry about yourselves, okay?
I'm not leaving you alone. You can do this.
If anything happens, I want to know that you will be okay.
I'll be safe.
no matter what happens, I want you all to stay together, and I want you to do what you need to do to get out of here. Don't worry about me. Help as you can if you can. But mostly worry about yourselves, okay?
I'm not leaving you alone. You can do this.
If anything happens, I want to know that you will be okay.
I'll be safe.
Like, what would
Yeah,
characters in
I don't
this
need to be on
script-
another watch list, Rashi.
I mean, everyone's on a watch list, so just, sorry.
Okie dokie then. So, let's go ahead and recap last session. And let me open up a tab I forgot to open. Okay. So, last session, you guys had gotten the information from Nori that a piece was nearby, and you'd asked Captain Nistal to stop the Razorback so you guys could look about and see if you could find it. Once getting out, you saw the vanishing island out upon the horizon, just a mere 1,000 feet away or so. And you all decided, with Rachab helming that lead, to go ahead and go for the piece first. You guys went down to the bottom of the ocean, started searching around for a few moments, until coming across an interesting glow. Once inspecting the glow with dancing light MJ, it was consumed, and a large creature stood further back as a small eel made its way, almost chomping Racha in the face, but the crystal of Trentamere embedded in its forehead. It got slurped back in, and then the creature stood off in the distance of the light without you being able to really see what it was. But the group, now faced with this mysterious beast, tried offering things for it to eat, and every time they used magic, it seemed to slurp it right up. So thoughts were processed and choices made, and levels of magic given over and over, and finally seemed to have sated the hunger of the beast enough to have a discussion and a barter. Finding out this was a creature known as Christophensen, the pet of the god Kivervalen, Racha offered his serene dagger to appease the beast in order for him to give up the eel and the crystal in its head. This offer worked, and as the group set themselves up to catch this eel, as soon as it was released, some were stunned while others got some good hits on it, but it redirected and headed directly towards Nori, colliding with her necklace. There was an internal battle between the two pieces, and after it was done, Nori perished, but was brought back by Trentamere as a gesture of thanks. With this, Nori's necklace was transformed, and they all headed back up to the Razorback in time and continued on with their journey. On the ship, Kaporan finished his Belladal, and the last day of travel at night, Racha and Nori set about trying to contact their deities, while Kaporan tried different wigs on Nori in her meditative state. After the two of them were done, everyone was asleep, and so they joined them. As morning came, they were cresting upon the side of an island, wholly in view now, and ready for our party to land. So you guys all get woken up to the sound of crew members moving around hurriedly in the other rooms next to your little barrack room. Um, Instinctually asking whoever wakes up first and asking what's going on. They tell them that they've arrived and they should be landing in the next 10 to 15 minutes. So get your things ready.
Val, did I have any dreams that night?
Nope.
Interesting. Nori looks very annoyed.
You stayed up, right?
Oh yeah, I did stay up. She looks very annoyed and sleepy.
But you look amazing, darling. Amazing.
With a pink wig, pixie cut.
Nori took that off so quickly after the after what she saw. She is not in the mood.
Everyone give me a round of perception checks.
Starting off strong, guys.
Yep. I'm kind of. It's nice to see a high roll, but at the same time, I don't want to waste them all for stuff like this if it's not important.
So Rashi's coming in. So far, okay, there we go. So Rashi, Nori, and Kaporin, you all wake up and or Nori, you've been awake, but now that everyone else is stirring and you get a good view on everyone, you three see that the discoloration that Racha had around his wrists seems to have spread now to around his beak and eyes.
Rosh's face just drops like, oh shit.
I don't even notice it in myself. I'm just like chill.
Oh yeah, you see it a little bit around your beak, but not a lot, obviously, from your perspective.
Would I have
I'm
seen
like
it too with
scraping it.
18?
Oh yeah, I forgot you have perception. Yeah, you do.
I'm like, it's like one of those things where like I see like a wisp of something in the corner of my eye, and I keep trying to wipe it away. It doesn't work.
Racha, you look different. Perrin, do you have your little mirror?
Oh yes. 1 second. Ruffles to the back. Here you go. Pull right in front of Racha.
Ooh, fascinating. He starts stroking it like he'd stroke his goatee.
He would. Racha would totally do that.
He's taking it in stride.
And actually, looking around your beak, the white and slightly blue tinted color actually goes a little bit further underneath your beak, kind of making it look like you have a goatee now.
I need to get a belted dwarven kind, guys. Get this whole beard going.
You need a wild surge.
Look great, Racha.
Get the beard of feathers and just never sneeze.
I'm equally terrified though because of my vision, but you look good. It's a nice look.
Yep, and I still don't know what to think about your vision. Because my necklace went from diamond to lime.
I mean, I think a lot of things about it, but none of them are good.
Well, we were told that they were going to be necessary, even if we don't like them. So this is probably a necessary change.
True. I think Racha likes his change, though.
Or it's just kind of like playing paparazzi with the mirror. It's like, ooh, look at this angle. Ooh, look at that angle. Ooh, look at this angle.
Petty bird.
And Racha, Bryn, Kaper, and Rashi, I'll have to talk about something with you all later. Also, please none of you use my first name. It would be greatly appreciated.
Is hey you sufficient?
Hey you or Vishave, either one.
Hey, you.
What?
Amric? And he just sort of like thumbs towards him.
Oh. Yeah, Nora will look at Amaric and go, yeah, don't use my first name. That would be appreciated. Vishave or Hey You is fine.
Sure.
Let's just call her Delilah.
I'm gonna just say, "Hey, you with the face." I'm kidding. I wouldn't do that, but no, don't say that out loud, okay?
Which I will remember this.
I feel like Kaporan's gonna be the one that'll accidentally forget because he's just so full of energy and excitement all the time.
Kaporan's like not paying attention at all of what Rashi is saying and kind of like, I've never noticed that creak in the little wall earlier since we've been on this ship.
Yep, and that's exactly why she said it. She's noticing he's not paying attention, and it's like, oh dear.
So, you guys have a few moments before they end up docking at the southern end of the island. If there's anything else that you guys would like to do before disembarking. All right. With that, Greta's Razorback moves into port. And interestingly enough, with this port, Captain Nestal comes back to you all and says, all right, need you all to be ready to get off as soon as possible once we reach the surface. Not really supposed to be here, so faster we get you off and get moving, better for us.
Bryn will nod and say yes, sir, and make sure everybody gets their shit together.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Amric has all of his stuff together and is ready to go.
All right. So lining you all up to the top hatch entrance. You guys aren't leaving through the side. You feel the rising in the water as the mechanized Draken turtle is coming up for air. Just crests slightly out of the water, enough for the hatch to not be submerged. The hatch is opened inwards, not outwards, and you all are kind of like scooted and hurried up the ladder as fast as possible. As you guys all get out there, you realize that the dock is probably like a good 4 feet higher than you guys actually are. So it comes down to, as soon as Bryn gets out, she sees this, she just kind of sighs and turns around and does the whole like, all right, and puts her hands together to start helping people up. Racha, probably not even using the handhold, just like using her knee, then her shoulder, then her head to like, and get up.
Parkour!
Parkour! And then just like pirouettes as he lands on top. Kaporan like shuffles quickly around and finds that 10 from earlier and holds it up. With that, she helps the rest of them up, and then it's kind of that awkward moment between her and Amric of like, who do we? Because she's like, you can obviously do this yourself, but somebody's gonna have to be the last one down here. Who's it gonna be?
If Amric doesn't make a move for it, she'll go up first.
Okay. If you're not using Amric's help, then go ahead and make an acrobatics or athletics check.
Would you help Amric, I guess?
Unless you tell me not to, then yeah, he would help.
Okay, so you can make it up, no problem. Amric, you being the last one, it's going to be athletics or acrobatics.
Would I be able to try to help him up from the dock?
With advantage.
I was going to say, I'll put down my pole.
As soon as Amric grabs onto it, you're going to be like, help!
He ends up in the sand again, and there's not even any sand anymore.
So,
I definitely made it up.
As you're going down to reach and help him, he like kind of pushes off the pillar that is the side that you guys are up, and then like kind of grabs your hand at the last second to kind of like him, like kind of like that. Oh, I don't need it, but I kind of need it because that's what gave you the advantage. So But you make it up, no problem. As soon as Amric's away, Bryn, you see this as you're looking down. Almost immediately, the hatch closes and it submerges once again. And you see, interesting how it looks, the Draken turtle moving just underneath the water before it starts to submerge past visual range. Well, you guys made it to the cliffs.
That was the coolest boat we've been in.
Well, I mean, Skipper Ladash's.
Submarine. So
But this was a Draken turtle.
His
His boat was very cool.
His saved your life
It
Yeah.
very much did, and I'm very grateful for it.
and
but,
blew up a wall
Yeah.
and another ship.
Skipper Ladash, come on, Skipper Ladash. It's like one of the best reasons right there.
I mean,
Yeah, Bryn's
having
sugar
the memory
daddy.
of that. This is the best thing Rashi's been in. So how much better than the demon ship?
It's definitely the best ship Amric's been in. It doesn't have a very high bar, but
I mean, also.
Well, he
it's
set the bar
submarine,
high.
So it, even cooler.
Amric's actually going to be like upset now with every other ship that he deals with.
Right. So be like,
What do you mean it doesn't go underwater?
He was on Vera's ship, so he'd be like, I guess it's this view again.
Yeah, but if he goes to like a bigger ship, because that was just a small fishing vessel. Any bigger ship, he's gonna be like, wait, what do you mean? We got to stay on top the whole time? What is this, a fishing boat?
yeah, I got the two opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Do you want me to cast water breathing and just have you be pulled behind the ship? That way you can go underwater? I mean,
Amric
it
went
seems
from
wildly unsafe.
Amric went from paddle boat to yacht, and like it's just like, well, fuck. Now that I've been spoiled. All right, so as you guys are moving about on the dock here, kind of trying to get yourselves off, so you're not just awkwardly standing there, looking like the tourist group. There's two docks to this pier, and the one that you came up to has no ships that are currently attached to it. The other dock does. It's got numerous amount of ships, but they all seem to be small fishing vessels, kind of in the same essence of Vera's. Majority of Goliaths are the ones walking around here, but there are a few Tritons, as well as a couple elves, as well as a couple. Oh my god, I'm blanking on the word. Hold on, I'm looking at my notes. I try to remember these things like beforehand, but sometimes it just escapes me.
There were dwarves on the last one, but that was the North Island.
Yeah, that's the North Island. This is much different.
Do I need to make a perception check to see if I'm sure it's not, but are the tattoos of these Goliaths similar enough to mine that I could fit in?
Orcs. There's orcs here. These are the cliff Goliaths I told you about. They have a different tattoo set base than you do. Or yours is more, I believe I said yours is more body tattooed. You have the pirate tattoo. Sorry, I'm blanking. Didn't expect this question, so I'm trying to remember off the top of my head.
I believe last time you said they were like they had sleeves, and I have face and torso.
There you go. Correct. I know was it the pirates that have all face tattoos? I don't remember. Lots of stuff between your Sunday and Monday is a hard day for me when it comes to what lore I need to know, what lore I don't. But regardless, it's obvious that you're different, but not in the case of like, oh, you come from mainland, we hate you. It's more of just like, obviously you're not going to try and be like, yeah, I'm one of you guys. It's more of like, we're loosely related, so there's some respect in that degree, but don't try and be like, what's up, brother, and because you're gonna get shot down with that.
Are the elves high elves?
Make a perception check.
They immediately try and bless us and throw holy water at us. No, just
You see Bryn's back.
He's too tall. I didn't tell you how bad my luck has been. I used all my luck on that Trentamere Nat 20. I DM'd a session. I did not roll above a 12. It was so bad. My cool skeleton dragon died so fast.
Val, you should send her your killer dice so she can use them for a little bit in her session.
Nope.
Is what you should do. You should share that love.
Nope, they stay with me. Right here. Right here.
Had to try.
Yeah, unfortunately, as you're kind of like looking around, you see but you're also notice it's hard to see the slightly smaller people in the sea of giant people. So you get the pointed ear here, the lightly colored hair there, but it's just like fuck, shit, damn it. You can get closer and take a look if you want.
I'll wait for the rest of the group to go forward, so it's not just me walking by myself.
Would Rachan notice her struggling to see over Bryn? He'd help her up onto his shoulders so that we could be like a two-person in a trench coat.
We get my cloak, and we're two people in a trench coat.
See, the problem with that is then you need to make an athletics check, and she would need to make an acrobatics check.
You're muted still, Val, if you're trying to.
The problem with that is that you would need to make an athletics check. She would have to make an acrobatics to keep that going.
Oh, man.
Yeah, sorry. Even reverse, that's a hard ask for you two. Mainly on the Nori side of things. But what would you guys like to do? You are in this town. You are noticed, but no one's really giving you like hard eyes or really asking too much of you. The only person who seems to be getting the most attention as far as being looked at is Bryn.
Well, where to first?
I think we have to go meet someone. Bryn?
Also, Bryn, do you want to wear a cloak? You're getting some looks.
She technically never returned mine, so
I mean,
Oh,
are other
that's some
people
shit.
wearing a cloak? I mean, because I feel like if she's the only person wearing a cloak out of everybody who's not wearing a cloak, like some type of thing, it's just gonna get looks.
Kaporn throws his cloak hood over
Have a
and is like, fine, don't notice me.
Don't notice you.
I have a
6'6",
cloak, but I wear it like
bard.
more or less, I wear it like it's a superhero cape.
But the majority of people aren't orcs. It's mostly Goliaths, correct?
Yeah, like I said, there's only a few Goliaths. A few orcs, a few elves. There's a sporadic, like here and there, different race. The next highest concentration of race would be Triton here.
They're just noticing how tall you are. They're just like, oh, that's weird. Normally we're the tall one.
Well, this is your quest, I suppose. I'll be following your lead.
We have to find Anari or Anara.
Nari.
Anari, thank you.
I like that name,
You
Anari.
would,
Well, the
California.
easiest place to go for information is usually an inn or a tavern somewhere. You know, alcohol and loose tongues and all that.
Now, as far as the city, this little town goes, it's not so very civilized in the regards of there's signs, of places. It's not like storefronts or abundant or obvious, really. It's a lot more of homes and people doing business outside the front of their homes. So kind of like vendor-esque in front of their homes. You can tell, obviously, what different shops do what as what's out in front of their house. Skins are pulled tight, so you know that that's probably a leather worker. There's a couple different buckets of discarded meat pieces. So you're guessing that's probably a butcher. It's kind of like that as you go further through the town. It's just if you want something, you could probably figure out what they do and where it's at just by looking. So you don't need to like sit down and ask, "Hey, where is the wood carver?" Because you see a large portion of just discarded ends of wood in front of someone's house.
Did we get a description of what Anari does? I don't remember. You just got a name, right?
She's a female Goliath.
If I can count on one thing from your guys' group,
We don't ask questions.
it's not asking enough questions, and it makes it fucking hilarious every time.
Val, why do you think I don't ask questions?
It's either
We just went over that.
it's either no questions or like overtly too many questions about something that really doesn't matter, and so I'm just like, so by the time you still get to it, it's like, fuck, we didn't ask the right questions, and I'm just like, yep.
Does it seem like there's a boat with an old dude tending to it, fishing size?
Make a perception check.
This is the out of character. This is also the place where we have to collect the tax too, right?
Yep.
That
Okay.
Anari is all a part of that.
Oh.
Richaw, you're kind of scoping around near the boats. You see what looks about 6 or 7 barrels, little short, like personal cask style barrels, situated in a circle around what looks to be a larger barrel and a plank of wood over the top, making a table. 7 old men, old Goliath men, all seem to be huddled around this, playing some sort of game. And there's fishing boats next to them, because they're at the other pier.
Ooh, do I roll the dice with them, guys?
You don't even know what game they're playing. They're off in the distance, and they're bulky individuals, though elderly, still Goliaths, so they kind of very much shoulder to shoulder it.
Well, as the group goes on their way, I'll like tug on Bryn's sleeve or whatever and just go, "Mind if I play something?" and point towards them.
Okay. Do you want someone to go with you? I guess I can go with you.
And he's gone.
As soon as I say yep, he's like, "Phew," I like finish my sentence. Oh, never mind.
God, where are you going?
Play something.
Bryn, you just hear that. You don't even see it. You just hear, play something. You're just like, the fuck?
But I know he pointed it out to me, right?
Yes, but when does Richaw beeline it straight to something?
Oh, I know, but at least I know. I'm like, okay. So
He
going
went
there.
down the dock that you guys
course
were
he
next
did.
to.
He went
Underneath
under
it
the-
is monkeying
swam.
underneath and like kind of like serpentines his way across the top of the water without disturbing the water somehow. And then kind of like and is on the other side of them before you even notice.
I just point over them when Nori goes, "Where are they going? Where is he going?" or whatever, and I'll just be like, "Over there."
And Nora, you just see everything. You're just like, how the fuck did he just what? Why? Just not the fish.
I swear, Rachad can do the weirdest stuff. I don't know what is with this bird, but I'm always impressed.
I wish I could see it.
So Rachad is just sitting on the other side of the Goliath now, just chomping on the head off of a little fish that he picked up in the water.
Your group definitely has some interesting abilities.
You could say that again.
Yep.
Rachad kind of like peeking around and looking to see what they're playing. It looks to be a dice game. There's about 3 different dice involved at once. And it looks to be a d20 and 2 d10s. And they roll them. And it seems to be kind of like bones. But using 3 dice instead. And make an intelligence check.
What is Bones? I've never played that before.
I'm already going to have to teach an imaginary game right now. I don't have time to teach an actual game as well.
I'm just gonna go Google it. Google.
I mean, it depends on the game, but typically, like, it's the bones is slang for like dice that are actually made out of ivory, or like
Well,
dominoes
it's
that are
called
actually
rolling
made out of
bones, and
ivory.
it's. Have you ever seen a movie and you see people rolling dice and they're all handing money over to each other? Usually in like slums or urban neighborhoods. About 4 or 5 guys all like pulled up to someone's garage, and they're just
It's what the guys are doing at the beginning of
like
El Dorado,
17 different
the one
movies.
with the bard and the rogue.
Yeah, the Road to
and the
El
horse.
Dorado, which is one of the best movies, underrated animated movies.
That's
But
my
yeah,
favorite one.
But
yeah.
it came from when those things were made out of ivory, which is where it got its name from.
So with your intelligence roll, you're able to pick up on it after they do it about 4 or 5 times. Each individual person puts down an ante, like an ante up for getting into the game. The 2d10s are rolled and kept secret. The d20 for each person, and then each person rolls the d20 out in front of them to show, and then they keep that dice out in front of them, but holding their 2d10 secret. And basically then it becomes a bluffing game of, if someone's sitting on a 19 and you're sitting on a 12, but you're holding 2 8s and your 10s, it becomes that sort of betting until it's down to 2 or 3 people, or everyone's done raising the ante before they show.
It's hard.
Makes a lot of sense. Did I ever get a D20 from that girl, or
No, you
did I
had
just
one.
start using? Did I just start using the very dangerous one?
Yeah, you had one already.
Oh no.
When
I'll let you sit on it and think about it.
when did the rest of us notice when like they kind of like, do we know after Bryn pointed out the general area where Cha is at?
Well, I mean, Nori is the only one that asked, and then she kind of just pointed it out. They didn't really bring too much of a, like, oh my god, look over there. What is Richard doing? It's more of a, he's gone. Nori's like, where are you going? And Bryn's like, that way. And then, with Bryn's nonchalant attitude at it, she's probably kind of looking out at the town. And knowing Kaporin's probably looking at all the hunky men that are walking by. All the fishermen that are getting off the boats and dragging large sacks of fish to different vendors. You got about like 4 different fish stalls like right in front of you guys, and it seems that they're separated into size of fish. So like the large, more sport catching style ones, far right, and it goes down by size from right to left. Who made perception? Amric and Kaporin, give me perception checks.
Got it.
And Rashi can too as well.
11.
You see some men.
Woohoo!
Are they in tights?
They're shirtless.
Oh, so Kaporin started wandering.
Kaporin
right
couldn't
there.
have rolled any better.
I got a 16.
Okay. Amric, you're just kind of watching Kaporin with the little drool off the side, just zombified walking in directions as Bryn's starting to like hold the back of his shirt. Rashi, looking at everything around in front of you, there's a couple different things that stand out as sort of different. The third fish vendor, so not the largest one, but the next size down. They have 5 baskets out in front of their little stall with the fish kind of draped across, and it seems that they have a solid block of ice in front of them that the Goliath who's working it, is chipping into. Rashi, you've never seen ice, at least in this context. You've seen like frozen earth. You've seen as winter when you were in the caravan, you saw a little bit of like ice on the ground, but never like a block of ice perfectly cut like this before. So it kind of stands out to you. And as you kind of look at it a little bit further, the ice is pretty clear and see through. And looking inside, it looks like there's a skull of something inside. Kind of has the shape of a fish, but you've never seen a fish like this before. Kind of anglerfish-esque, with the long, like almost serrated teeth. No fish hook on it, but no little eye lantern, but just more of like the piranha-esque mouth. But the interesting,
I'm a piranha.
the interesting,
The Amazon.
the interesting thing about it, not only it being in ice and being decently large, because this block of ice itself is about 3 feet tall by 3 feet wide. But the bones, because that's all it is. It's the skeletal face of it. The bones of it seem to be black for some reason. Besides that, the next biggest thing that kind of catches your attention is an interesting creature that seems to be in between two buildings. Sits roughly about 10 feet tall and probably about a good 5 to 6 feet wide. It seems to almost be like pushing its shoulders and everything together to fit in between these two buildings. But it's doing a decent job as it is not touching either one of them. It's completely all black and has cat-like qualities to it, kind of panther-esque, but much larger than any sort of cat creature you've seen or even fought against. But the face of it resembles much more of a bull. It's an interesting kind of breed between the two. You're not exactly sure what that is, but it does stand out. Besides those two things, the next biggest thing that's going to stand out to you is Kaporin has gone evil. And the next biggest thing that stands out to you is a cart that seems to have about 6 or 7 cages in the back of it. And they're metal cages, roughly about 3 feet by 3 feet. And there's 7 of them back here, all housing small creatures that you can't make out too much from the distance that you're at, but they are making one hell of a noise. Somewhere between like a howler monkey shriek and the sound of scared pigs.
Rashi, anyone who's paying attention, she does not make this known. She just kind of starts slowly wandering towards the people carving in the giant block of ice because she's a little bit of a country bumpkin and is fascinated by this giant block of ice. Not so much the fish thing carcass inside, but she's just like, that's really cool. And you hear her say, that's really cool. And she just starts kind of slowly accidental pun, thanks. And starts walking like kind of slowly, like fascinated looking towards the block of ice.
So you got
Not at,
Kaporin
like,
drooling
a
over
fast
men,
pace.
and then Rashi drooling over ice as they start to
where-
slowly spread apart from each other.
It's like, where are you guys going? I think we should discuss where we're going before we split up in this strange town.
Kaporin's going so hot, Rashi's going so cool.
Sorry, I've never seen ice like that. It's really cool. Oh wait, hold on. It's really awesome. There's like a black bones inside. I've never seen black bones on a fish. Although the Minotaur cat thing's kind of interesting too, but I like that block of ice more. She kind of not like broadly points at the being in between the two buildings, but she kind of like gestures like nonchalantly because it's a living creature, I'm presuming. So she doesn't want to be like, look at that thing. Like she's got.
Oh God, mommy!
Oh, he died.
Don't know.
Kaporin is continuing to drool and drift away.
In the meantime, Kaporin and Rashi are getting a little weird for Amric. He's gonna. Can I make a perception check to find Richa or just any? Maybe not Richa. I don't know what else he would look for though. Yeah, let's find Richa.
Well, you said you wanted to go to to buy some stuff in the Bloodgood lands, but you weren't able to. So here's a place where you're probably a little bit more comfortable and possibly could.
That's a good point. Is there an area that looks like a market?
Like I said, pretty much any of the buildings here that you want to, they have the majority of stores that you would need, um, but it's not so much a market. It's just everyone's homes, and they all do something.
Okay. Then Amric will probably split off from the group, and he would like to go and buy a woodcarver's kit if he can find one.
Okay.
And then he would know this, but I don't. Would he just collect the wood from that on his journeys, or does he buy little blocks of wood for his statuettes?
If you're just trying to make like small figurine style stuff, um, you, I mean, you could buy wood from any like lumber portion in any of the towns. Um, if you're trying to get like, what are you saying? Like maybe like a foot wide by maybe a foot tall.
Right now the goal is just to make figurines, like little animal figurines.
Yeah, so like desk or like bookends, like that size, or are you talking like more like the tiny
Just-
bears you see in cabins?
Yeah, just like little 1-inch figurines.
Okay, so you can, yeah, so you can, you know, get that out of firewood if you really wanted to, as long as the wood is cut correctly and dried out correctly, you can use it. So firewood is dried out to make it useful as firewood. But you can get that at any lumber person or any carpenter. They have excess wood that they'll sell.
Okay. Then yeah, I'll buy the wood carver's kit, and then I'll go to uh anyone who's selling lumber, and I'll buy enough for 10 1-inch statuettes.
Okay. So woodcarver's tools is going to cost you 4 gold, and then getting that much wood, you're looking at about 10 pounds of wood. Because if you're making a 1-inch by 1-inch figurine, that means you're going to need about 4 inches by 4 inches of wood per piece. And it's easier just to get one log than it is to get a bunch of little logs. But that's only going to cost you like 4 silver. And being on the island is actually going to be a little bit different wood than you're used to. Rather it being like an oak or a pine situation, this is more of a birch. So it's a lighter color and a little bit smoother of a grain.
Good to know.
So this wood is actually white with black dots.
Some interesting statues then. I would that's all Amric wanted to buy. So after that, instead of going back to the group, however long that takes, he'll go looking for Richa.
Okay. Everybody else?
I think Nori's gonna go with Rashi as to not leave her alone. And can
Well,
I
she
do a
kind of
nature check?
Paused when you were like, "Hey, where's everyone going?" She kind of paused and was like, "Oh, sorry," and she would like stop and figure out what the group's doing.
And Nori's kind of curious about it as well. But can I do a nature check on that crazy beast to see if I know what it is? I am a druid.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have no idea what this is.
Yep, looking at it, obviously it seems to be some sort of hybrid or possibly a complete different sort of breed of creature. Not sure. It doesn't seem to register with anything that you've dealt with or seen or been taught of, so it probably comes from a different continent.
Hmm.
Or it's native to this island.
Maybe it's from this France thing we've heard of.
No, all they give you is bread and weak men.
Okay, so where are we going then? Sorry, I didn't mean to wander off.
No, it's okay. You were curious about something.
I've never seen a block of ice like that. I
Then let's go look at the block of ice. Bryn, can you make sure Richard doesn't die?
There's only so much I can do.
Am
well,
I just
so-
standing there with like Kapor holding Kapor and
Yeah,
practically
we
Yeah.
his
can't
back
let
to the fence,
Kaporan wander
holding
around
him,
either.
holding him in place while I watch Richard as well from afar.
Oh no, just
I
gave you
babysitting
guys-
the two troublemakers.
Gave you guys an
I
option to buy leashes.
I think honestly, out of the two of them, Rachel will probably be fine, and we need to keep a better eye on Kaporan.
You make an
Especially-
excellent point.
I mean, we'll know if Rachel does something bad on accident because it'll be really big.
Kaporan has begun playing his lute, trying to seduce the nearest man he can see.
Which, with
Yeah.
Bryn holding you back, the nearest man that you can see is the old dudes off on the other pier.
Reed, let me go! Wow, that's gonna be awkward.
Beggars can't be choosers, Kaporin.
If he does like try to struggle, she'll.
Well, he's making enough of a ruckus now and performance that people have stopped and started looking in your guys' direction and taking
As soon
in
as
the
that
sight
happens,
that
I
they're
will
seeing.
go. I let go as soon as I notice that he's doing this. I'm like, nope, not doing this. But I'll stand with him.
Kaporan starts juking and jiving down the street as he's playing his lute, kind of like sexy sax manning his hips as he's playing.
With Bryn following, just going.
Yeah, you looking like a
Act
groupie,
like a
yes.
guard. Just act like his
No.
bodyguard.
And yeah, and so let me roll a dice here. I've got a list of songs for Kaporan that he'll randomly play when he makes nat 20s.
Oh! That is
Also,
awesome.
I mean, you know, Kaporan, like the old dudes could be into Kaporan. Like, you know, he could find a daddy.
All right. So Kaporan, busts to the moves and feeling in the rhythm, comes up with this song, and you guys hear him start to play "Eye of the Tiger" as he's kind of just busting down through the street and just pointing at random guys as he's walking by, and they're kind of just looking at him like, the fuck. Some people are like, that aren't like directly around him, are just kind of like nodding to the tune and like kind of like going along with it. Obviously the ones that he's pointing and kind of serenading, they're just like, the fuck, and just start walking away. But
Imagine Bryn just watching this and looking at their poor faces. Oh god.
but it's all in tune key, and you can now add that to your repertoire.
Oh, that is awesome.
You-
Okay,
you,
I'm right.
You have Cannon,
It is
Eye
the
of the
thrill
Tiger.
of the fight. It is the thrill of the fight.
Oh.
I
Oh,
know the words to
you
that
know it.
song. I know that song. Like, I know all the words to that song. So, sorry. I should be the bard, but I don't sing or play instruments, really.
So now you know what happens when you get nat 20s on performances.
I love that.
Real songs.
Yeah, you get Bryn following you, going, "What the fuck am I doing?"
It's
Prince
the
of
performance
Groupie.
is so good, you can't help but tap your foot to it and kind of nod your head as you're going behind
Not
him.
happy about it though.
Nope,
You're just
completely
funny.
pissed off. She's like, God damn it, he sounds good.
That
I'm
was
putting attention on her right now because she's following closely behind him.
Yep. Okay, so that. Richa, have you decided?
I've decided that I will produce my dice set visibly not having a d20 and asking if I could play.
One of the old men that you're right next to kind of like leans over and sees you're missing a key portion of the set and kind of just shakes his head, obviously not understanding your language, but knowing what you're trying to say by showing your dice, and is kind of just piss off, human. But in the language that they say, and you're not sure what they said.
I guess then he'll be like, Do you understand me?
No one responded or really changed their demeanor at all.
Fucking thing. He just says it kind of under his breath, but in front of all of them. See if he gets a reaction out of any of them, like they're just ignoring him.
It's not so much that they're ignoring him, like outright, like being like, "Oh, let's cold shoulder this guy." It's more of like they don't understand, and they're just you can get the sense that they're like, oh, tourists.
Yeah, I wanted to see if like me saying something super off key and out of nowhere was gonna like alert one of them and be like, "Oh, he can actually speak it, but I can't." But he's just hiding that he can't.
Yeah, no, none of them seem to have recognized what you said.
All right, he'll wander off shamedly with his not complete dice set.
And that gives you another thing, Kaporin. Basically, you've made the song "Eye of the Tiger," but hardly anyone can understand you. So it's like "Eye of the Tiger" in Korean, where everyone can appreciate
K-pop's a
it.
thing.
Everyone can appreciate the song and the sound of the music and everything, but don't understand what the fuck you're saying, and they're just kind of nodding and going and smiling along with it.
So that just means I need to pick up a certain spell going forward. But that is amazing. But Kaporin couldn't get a guy, so he's not happy.
Amric, as you come back, you see the group has kind of spread out from where you originated from, but you do see Rachaw kind of head hanging a little low, walking back towards Nori and Rashi as they are investigating the ice block.
Then I'll meet him halfway if he's heading towards Nori and Rashi and just head towards them. And if they don't seem like they're moving, he's not going to join the conversation, but he'll sit down and he'll start working on his first statue.
Okay. Do you have a proficiency in woodcarvers?
I'm pretty sure I do. Hold on. Yeah, I do.
Okay, then it's going to be a dex check with your.
Even better if you didn't. You're like, look at this beautiful statue, and it's all misshapen, and like
It's
looks
Dex.
great.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's dex. You're
You
wood
said-
carving a 1-inch sculpture. That
you
takes
said
finesse. It's not going to take strength.
Shit. Okay. What is it? So it'd be
make this thing happen.
D20 plus 3. Just do it in roll 20.
You don't just hit it once with a hammer and it all just falls apart.
It's not Valar, okay?
Not if it's 1 inch in size.
It's average.
You start cutting it down. Well, you're working on it. You're not done with it yet. This is because it takes a while. But you section off a piece of the log that you want to start working with, and you shape it down to roughly the right size. You end up using a little bit more material than you thought you would have from the beginning. So instead of being able to make 10 sculptures out of this log, you can only make 9 now. But you're on your way to making it. Obviously, whittling something down into an actual workable sculpture takes a long fucking time. All right. Anybody else want to do anything? Kaporin finally finishes his song on his knees in the middle of the street.
Are people staring at him?
3 people are clapping. 2 of the Goliaths that he serenaded and had walked away are just now sullenly looking from like different ends of the street, like, just wanted to fucking buy some fish. Goddamn. And then you've got like 3 kids that are around you, Kaporin, kind of all just. They're Goliath kids, so they're like the size of Nori, but they're all kind of just like jumping and like clapping as you finish. And Brandon, you're just standing there.
Does Kaporin give an encore? Kaporin is just over there enjoying this time with his newfound fans, and unless someone pulls him away, he's gonna be like doing little songs for the kids and whatnot, just kind of enjoying himself because he's a kid at heart.
The kids that are the size of Dory, but significantly bigger.
One of the looks to be like maybe a teenager. So you got the three little kids, and then you've got a slightly older crowd. Um, one of them comes over and gives you a little flower crown that she makes there right in front of you, druid crafting in her hands. So she gives you a little flower crown and kind of like, that hard, I don't speak your language, but thank you, kind of like nodding to each other as you guys like separate.
Oh, it's so sweet. Like Capone just kind of scoops it up and puts it on. It's like he feels very proud and very just like yes right now. So
All my dreams are coming true.
just watch me, Ma. I'm going places.
The entirety of the cliffs shall know my name.
All the bards here will sing of the one bard that came to the cliffs.
Capone now just needs to learn the language of the town so that he can converse with them and
Yeah,
build
so
up
they
his
speak
repertoire.
Yeah, I was gonna say Rocha would actually go up to Amric as he's working on his sculpture, not really interrupting him too much, and be like, "I've got a bone to pick with you."
You need something, Richa?
I didn't get this far in the conversation in my head. He's like, he'll gesture towards the Goliath that he went to talk to.
To be fair, Richa, I'm pretty sure there's many times where you've gone into conversations and you're just like, fuck. What do I say? How do I say it?
He'll gesture back towards the guys over there and go, "I'm not quite sure the queen needs fucking."
What language was that in?
That one.
I think it was Nori's voice. Nori said that to me one time.
Yeah, I was gonna say I believe it's common.
I said that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
in
he said
response to me saying "fuck the fucking queen" or one of those ones, and you're like, "I'm not sure the queen needs fucking."
What a bad influence.
Are you sure it wasn't some random NPC that said that to you?
nope.
No, I think I remember that. Yeah, I think he said that, and then she had comprehend languages, and that's how she responded.
Oh, that makes sense now.
I've kept a decent track in my mind of what lines Richa has pulled from my NPCs.
Yeah, for the most part, I'll write down which language. If
Yeah,
they're
that's
in a
mainly why I try to remember it, because there's other things at play if you were to say something in a certain person's voice and someone else recognizes it.
Never thought of it that way.
Because though we don't hear the mimicry, it is mimicked in people's exact voices. And as you can tell, some NPCs have very particular voices.
I try my best to keep with them, but
Yeah, I know.
sometimes
It's
I
hard.
just forget it.
It's hard to remember something from like 30 sessions ago. I understand.
After Richa points him out, I don't think it's too far of an assumption. Do you need someone to translate for you, Richa?
Just give them a tip.
It's not Rashi this time.
Do they just not understand the way you talk, or the languages you're talking in?
The languages you're talking in.
Give me a moment. Once I'm finished with this, I'll I'll help out, and as soon as I'm done doing the carving off the piece of wood, I'll go over and help him out.
I will sit there and watch curiously. Not
SpongeBob
trying to
SquarePants
bother you,
coming
though.
in 2 hours later. Amric finally gets done carving what you're not sure what he's trying to carve. It's definitely not something you recognize. Looks much more like a blob.
It's a rock out of a piece of wood.
Yep, it's my statuette of my pet rock.
Immemorial. R.I.P.
But eventually, you get finished and go with Richa over to the group of gentlemanly sailors that are over there. Now, 4 of them have gone. There's only 3 left. They are no longer playing.
What did you want to ask them, Rachel?
I dropped him off at the fisherman in the cliffs. Some old guy with a boat.
You need someone semi-fluent in Kenku.
Actually,
I might need a different example there, Rachel. Yeah. I never saw them playing right, so I just think he wants to ask them something.
and
He
actually,
who-
Amric is probably out of the group the most fluent in Kenku.
He who taken Big Island and then gestures towards one of like the group of Goliaths.
Amric will nod, and then he'll approach the sailors, and he'll switch to giant. I assume that's what they speak, and ask and say, "Excuse me, do any of you happen to know anyone who looks like my companion here named He Who?"
The one Goliath sitting off to the left is the only one to speak up as the other 2 kind of look towards him. And who's asking? Kind of just looking you up and down.
Just a visitor.
Alright, just a visitor. How much is it worth to you?
Amric will pull out yeah, he'll pull 4 gold out of his coin purse and put it on the table.
Is Richard watching this whole thing, or like, am I standing right next to him, or am I like back from him?
You're next to him.
I will try and sneak 4 gold into his pocket then.
Slide a hand check. Passive perception, Emmer.
14.
You see Richa as he's counting gold, and then he goes to put it in your pouch.
Right before he does, I assume it has drawstrings. I'll just tighten it as far as it'll go.
I'll put it into the one next to it. Whatever.
Hammer can play this game all day.
Knowing how dedicated Richa can be about giving away money, even if you tighten that bitch, I'm pretty sure he's gonna like shove a claw in and try and like wrench it open and slide
it's like
gold by gold.
It's like you caught him, but he's still gonna do it anyways.
And it's like, and if you close all your pockets, well, I guess we're just gonna have to go to the natural ones.
Amric says, "What? What?" Yeah, shove it in his mouth.
Are we still standing on the dock?
Yeah.
We're still
Well,
talking
you're
to the
not
guy.
on the
Yeah.
not on the dock. This is at the pier, so this is the portion that's up against the land. They're situated on land. So the docks are the things that go out into the water. The pier is
Okay.
the thing that is attached to the docks in the land.
If the Amric is really adamant, like
No.
shoving me
if
away, then I
if-
will just place my 4 down with his 4 as well.
Double or nothing.
That'll work.
With the 8 gold down now, the guy reaches across, kind of cups it, and slides 1 gold apiece to the other 2 that are with him. They both bite it, and one of them licks it before putting it away. If you're looking for bird information, let me pull up the right guy. Hold on. You need to talk to Varad. He's the only one that deals with Barnabas.
That went from he who to Barnabas real fast.
Where might I find this Varad?
They point to a small hut that doesn't have anything out in front of it, but it is the one that is to the left of the creature that sits between the 2 buildings. This creature is now, instead of like standing there, is now stood up and is like half resting on top of that hut.
I'll give him a nod. And I'll switch to common and say to Richa, gather the others. And then I'll start heading and I'll stand I'll head towards the front of town. But I won't stand anywhere near the building yet. I'll just be kind of waiting out in the open for the rest of the group.
Okay.
I really want to try and do something that's like the Anchorman news team assemble to the rest of everybody, but I will go running around. I will go running around, just grabbing everybody one by one if I have to sit them right in front of Hamrick, not even explain anything.
Are you going to be on our left?
Pretty much. You'd stop at Rashi and then say, "Ask for consent first," and then grab her and run off.
In her own voice.
Yep.
Okay. Well, so while that was going on, though, what's with this block of ice? Or did we not have enough time to get to the...
No, you got time. Block of ice. It's a Goliath. He's chipping away at the ice in here, and he seems to be taking the chunks of the ice that he is cutting off and placing it in the baskets with the other fish. But you guys approach him. Bald, no facial hair, only has tattoos around the hands and wrist, and you're guessing probably the feet and ankles, but doesn't seem to have any tattoos anywhere else. Is shirtless, so you can see his his chest and his arms, but there seems to be a decent amount of scars across his chest, different fashions and sizes and whatnot. But the majority of the scars seem to be on his arms. It looks like possibly like rope burns or some sort of line, as they are concentric and circular around his arms. He's sitting there and he's chipping away at the ice and shoving it between the fish that he has laid out in the baskets, as well as putting it on top. But you guys approach. He kind of just stops and stares at you two and kind of like gestures to the fish if you guys wanted some.
Is it raw fish or cooked fish?
It's raw fish, hence why he's icing it.
Right. Yeah, that's what I figured, but I just wanted to double check. Is there any fish there that Rashi would recognize being completely, mostly away from the water?
From this stall, since it's not the large one, because like there's tuna and there's like larger ones at the large fish stall. This one's more medium sized, so more like large sea bass style of fish. There's a couple that you've seen. They're all colorful, all very vibrant in color, ranging from reds and oranges to like very light greens, and a couple blues. You've seen some as you guys were traveling with Vera and looking at the fish in the water, and when you guys swam down. So they're recognizable in that sense, but obviously, haven't dealt with too many fish and what the different types are and how they taste too much. So Richaw's that connoisseur.
Right.
All the fish tacos.
Rashi will look at Nori, not saying her name, obviously, because she's right next to her, and just be like, "Bones are black. That's really neat." Because you said there's fish bones in the ice, right?
Yeah, it's the skull of a large fish.
Yeah, but I've never seen black fish bones. Is it reminiscent of like the black weapons Valor has, but only like fish bones?
No, it doesn't have a stone texture. It like looks like bone. Now that you're up closer and you can look at it, it does seem to be bone. It doesn't seem to be like scorched bone. Because that's really the only time you've ever seen like black bone is when it gets scorched. But this seems to be more of just an innate coloring to the bone structure itself.
Is that local, do you think? I've never seen fish like that.
Val, you can say no to this, but could have Nori have casted comprehend languages earlier when they weren't around a bunch of people?
Yeah,
I feel like she would have. Yeah, just so I can understand shit.
Okay. Comprehend languages, that's just an intake spell, right? That's not a...
I can't speak, but I can understand.
Okay. Go ahead.
I look at Rashi and just like, did you want to ask?
I mean, kind of. It's kind of neat. It's, I'm sort of like a, country person, I guess. So I've never seen a lot of fish, but that's interesting. I wonder if they're like that all the time.
Nori's going to point to the ice and then do like a little head tilt, like just kind of a non-verbal question, like, what's that?
He kind of like stops chipping into it and just looks at you guys. Kind of takes his hammer and chisel and tink, 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 takes off a chunk of ice and slowly hands it towards you.
I guess I give it to Rashi.
Is Nori currently mimicking Richa? Is this what's happening?
A little bit.
Rashi will say thank you to the vendor in common. Does he respond or look like he understands? No. I think you have to be more specific, Nori. I mean, like, we know what ice is.
I know, but you were curious about the giant block of ice. I don't know. I'm trying to be helpful here.
Yeah, but look at the bones of the fish inside of it.
Yeah, that's what I was curious about as well.
Like that?
No, it's stone, isn't it?
No.
He's just looking at us like we're nuts.
Well, yeah.
As you guys are standing there, you hear footsteps behind you two, large, heavy footsteps, like impacting the ground. And as you kind of instinctually turn around, Nori already in a defensive posture. There's another Goliath there who has a giant ice cube over his shoulder. And is kind of like, as you turn around really quickly, he kind of just stands there like, oh fuck. Like, he doesn't know what's about to go on.
Rashi will like take a step back out of the way for him to move forward.
And he kind of goes around you, Nori, like, what the fuck are you doing, little person? And just like puts down the ice cube next to the other ice cube, and this one also has the same skull of of a fish with black bones in it.
Nori, who is paranoid and nervous all the time now, just kind of backs away. Like, sorry.
All right, so Rashi will wave at the vendor again, like hello, like that's. I'm guessing that's a universal gesture, and will point at the bones, like point at the black in the cube, and kind of like do her best imitation of like a confusion face.
Fish.
Mentally to Rashi, she just goes, he's saying fish.
Yeah, I got that. I don't know why she whispers back.
He's chipping away at the ice. Now that he's got a second block, he's kind of doing it more fervently and dishing out the ice to the different baskets in front while you guys kind of just watch him do it. And he's doing a decent job, and he doesn't seem to really be getting too close to the bones. He's kind of going around it and like into the actual head instead of actually like uncovering the bone to fresh air. But he's starting to move super quick, and as he's like sculpting it out, he's not so much focusing on you guys anymore as he's kind of like doing his job. And after he gets to a point where there's really only the base holding this thing up and like a thin sheet of ice around the whole thing, he puts down the hammer and chisel and takes out what looks to be like a larger wooden mallet, kind of holds the front ends of the fish head, putting his fingers between where the teeth are, and then he takes the wooden mallet and cracks it once, and the thin sheet of ice around the whole thing just shatters apart from it. And as soon as it does so, the mouth starts closing and opening and closing and opening from the fish head itself. And as soon as he hit the hammer, he grabbed the bottom jaw, and so he's stopping it from closing completely, and he's just like forcing it. You just see the muscles and the veins just flexing really hard as he's holding this thing from completely closing on his hands. And the other Goliath kind of gets around behind him, shoves his hand where the eyes are. So one hand through one eye socket, one hand through the other. And then once he's got a hold on it and he's up against his chest, the other guy lets go of the mouth. And it's just chomping. And this guy walks back to the water with it. You see him walk to the water, and then he lets it go. And as it does so, it chomps into the water, and then you hear a as soon as it hits the water, it creates an ice block around it, and it's just bobbing in the water. And he goes and he collects it, throws it over his shoulder, and brings it back, puts it down next to the other ice block.
You hear Rashi, Nori hears Rashi go, ooh, fascinating, like Racha says, because it's an apt term. And then she points at one of the green fish, one of the blue fish, and one of the red fish. And how much? She's gonna try Elven. Gonna try saying how much in Elven as she points to each fish.
He kind of like sits and thinks, and he's like wiping off the ice and water that is around his hands. Sits back down and gets into his position behind this other ice block, and understands what you're saying, but you can tell he's like internally trying to process. And goes, 2 gold in Elvish.
Sweet, I found a language they speak. I was just gonna go down my list of like 5 languages I know until they responded to one and be like, all right, I found one. Okay, what does 2 gold shoot?
2 gold or 4 trillium.
For shows they each or together?
Together.
She will give him 4 trillium for the 3 colored fish.
Okay. So you can add 3 pounds of fish in different colors, 1 pound apiece.
It'll be a present for Richard.
Actually, yes. I was thinking of giving Rachel.
As Rachel comes up next to you and goes, "Ask for consent first."
Oh, hey, Rachel.
Grabs her wrist and goes.
Doesn't understand what consent is, just knows he needs to say that before.
What are you doing? And then Nori runs after them.
He just grabs her and she's like, okay, and just follows along, I guess.
Wait, so Rashi can get pulled by Rachel, but Boring can't just yank him?
Rachel asked first. Koborin just did it.
You just have to ask for consent first. That's all.
That was the whole point.
You don't need to wait
Koborin
for the
just
answer.
did it.
You just go.
Also, Rachel is a very cute little bird, and Koparin is a very tall, very loud person.
True. Also, Rachel paused and just assumed that her answering him and verbally meant, okay, fine, that's good, even though that's not what she said. Even though she didn't technically say yes, she was like, oh, hey, Rachel, and he's like, okay, let's go.
It wasn't a no. Alright, so, you, Rachel, eventually get everybody. It takes, probably the most time to get Koporin, but with Bryn's help, eventually gets dragged away from his adoring fans over to Amric.
Not my
His adoring children fans.
Yep,
the size of Nori.
he's the pop singer of this world.
Oh, since we're around there, I'm sure it's exactly what I think it is, but spell check on that one name.
Vaurad.
That I asked.
Oh, I legit thought you were gonna do a spell check, not a grammar spell check, a
Detect
spell
magic.
Check, and I'm like, what the fuck are you trying
Magic.
to get with the spell check on this name? We don't know anything. I've been
Nori has comprehend
magic
languages up. I'm
casting.
sorry.
Spell check.
right.
Nori glows blue. God damn it, Nori.
It's a name. Oh, okay, cool.
The name that
No, don't say
conjures
my name.
fire.
Right, exactly. All of a sudden, Emmerich breathes fire every time he says it, and you're like, that.
So eventually, everyone is dragged over to you, Amric, and Richaz now sits there, waiting patiently.
Is everything okay?
Very much Roadrunner-esque, kind of just tapping his foot quickly.
Racha asked me to ask some older sailors at the dock about Hihu. And so I did, and they pointed me in the direction, and I'll point at the building of someone in town named Vared, and that he was who we should go to for any bird-related business, and that he was the only one that dealt with someone named Barnabas. I assume you know. I assume you all know who that is.
Nori nods tiredly.
Thank you for helping Rachel. I'm sure it wasn't easy.
Well, I never.
He's one to speak to, sir.
It wasn't a big deal, but
You can always use a traveling buddy. She that's the only one of the two phrases she understands when Bertrand says.
And the one phrase Kaporin taught him is the one that he loves to hear the most.
Are we gonna go talk to him then?
I suppose it's up to all of you.
If it's to find Hugh, I'm all for it.
He also might be able to point us in the direction of the other person we're trying to find.
Kaporin is literally asking the question, he who? Who he? As he continues to stare off into the crowd of lovely men.
Kaparin, you can't flirt with every man.
They're also teenagers.
And it's creepy.
So just make sure they're taller than Nori so that they're above a certain age. Got it.
That's not hard to do.
Be taller than Nori or be a certain age?
I mean, you do have an adult Goliath to base off of.
To be fair,
Very true.
Goliaths reach usually adult height by the age of 18. Like they stop growing at 18.
I think they're like half orcs too, where they're considered adults by the age of 14 or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yay for child.
Sometimes younger, depending on. Well, for orcs, it's if you get a kill before you're. So, you can be 12 and technically be an adult.
Technically, adult doesn't cut it. Don't flirt with children. It's creepy.
If you've got to use the word technically, then you probably are dealing with some bad motherfuckers.
True. Yeah. Culture
You
aside.
know what? If you even need to consider like this might not work out right, you probably shouldn't.
Now, if only we
Kaporin
could get
has a
Answer's
language
no.
barrier there too. It's like if a K-pop like he became the K-pop star and just showed up. He doesn't understand anything that's going on. Just that everyone likes what he's doing.
No,
Well-
only the kids liked what he was doing, and everyone else walked away.
It's called jailbait for a reason. And Kaporin is a fish.
For following the bait.
Kaporin,
We are not. I'm not bailing you out, buddy.
You guys all stand in front of this building, just awkwardly standing in the middle of the street, facing it.
Ding dong.
Does it look
From like 20 feet away.
Is it big enough for everybody to fit, or is it just like something like?
Yeah, it's like a good 15 feet tall. It's a single story. Looks to probably be maybe like 20, 30 feet long, and roughly the same wide. So it's probably got 2-3 rooms in it.
Kaporin walks up and knocks on the door because he's just feeling that kind of way right now.
Okay. You knock on the door, and this is a good thing for you. You being as tall as you are, most doors are relegated to slightly smaller demeanors. This one is much larger, and you actually have the doorknob that's like roughly at your chest level, and it's just a nice overall experience. You knock on the door, and the door opens, and about a 7'6" Goliath kind of leans over into the door frame. Just looks at you with the weirdest fucking look, like, who the fuck? And in common, who are you?
My name's Kaporin. Are you Vard? Vard? Did I say that
Varad.
right? Varad? Varad.
Yes.
My friend, your friends on the docks said that we should talk to you about Barnabas business.
Hold on. And he closes the door. This whole time he was kind of like just like sticking his head over. You hear some ruffling and some stuff moving around, and the door opens back up again. And he starts to push his way through the doorway, so it kind of is a gesture like, move back, I'm coming out. And
Okay.
As he does so, you realize that one of his legs is completely black. Not from tattoos. It looks to be not sure what. You can go ahead and ask if you want to. But it looks like his leg, but made out of stone.
Oh, I was gonna ask if Rashi could do a medicine check, but then you said it looked like it was stone, so never mind.
Yeah. It has all the same character and features that a regular leg would, but it's made out of stone, and it impacts the ground, and you feel the kind of tremor that it leaves as every time he steps. And he walks normally. There is no limp or anything like that. It's perfectly sized and everything. But he kind of walks out. Sees the rest of you all like behind Kaporin at about 10-15 feet away. And he kind of just... What do you need with Barnabas?
Kaporin, since he's kind of standing right there, he's like, he was told us that you took one of our friends, or wait, correction, by chance did you ferry a Kenku recently? We're currently looking for our Kenku's friend. Kind of motions over to Racha.
kind of just squints, looking at all of you, and Bryn, your chest starts to burn.
Oh.
And he kind of just locks eyes with you. And you see on his chest a singeing mark starts to appear. The same one that hurts for you right now, Bryn. I see. Well, your friend went to an island. I tried finding it for him. Could not, so I sold him a boat.
I hope at that point someone like you guys have walked up or points. Kind of like if you haven't, he's like kind of like, come over here, you
I
guys.
assumed we all just walked with you, but the DM said apparently we didn't. So
Well, Kapoor's the one that said he's the only one that knocked, so.
I assume we all kind of followed him though. But
When has following Kapoor ever worked out for you guys?
going up to knock
That
at the
is-
door though.
Very true.
Amric probably would have sat back a little bit.
Well, Bryn can't move forward.
I can't.
You can move backwards and side to side, but something's stopping you from moving forward.
I mean, as soon as Kapoor knocked on the door, Rashi would have started following him. If
Okay, well, everyone else
to knock
but
on the
Bryn
door.
and Amric are there. He's talking loud enough so everyone can hear.
If Bryn takes a step back, can she step back to where she was, or is she not stuck where she, like
Yeah.
if she takes one step back?
Yeah.
How far am I away from?
15 feet.
Interesting.
Bryn, are you all right?
She'll just nod.
I sold him a boat about 2.5 months back.
That makes sense. I was about to say, what, 2 months? Why? Oh, because Kaporan got hurt.
And Nori lost her mind. Fucking JJ.
Technically, that would have been after that point too, because it's been like 2 months since of travel
Mhm.
down to the Jewel Rose clan, as well, more or less.
Yep.
Good lord.
And
So the
Rich
last
would
time
sort
you-
of just Richa would just sort of nod and go, Big Island name?
Like I said, never found the island. Never saw the bird again. If he found the island, he names it. Unless someone else is already there.
Is it an island close by, sir?
Like I said, we never found the island.
But there's many islands around here. Would it be somewhat close, do you think? Or he just went off in a direction?
If they never found it, it's not close.
Went off in a direction. Westward. Westward, 15 degrees port of sunset.
15. Kaporan pulls out his little journal and is like, jotting this down.
Rashi just kind of shrugs because she has no idea what that means.
It's,
It's boat language. That's all she's got.
15 degrees west of sunset.
15 degrees port of
Port
sunset.
of sunset. West
Port
in
of
a
sunset.
west direction, but 15 degrees port of sunset.
Well, what makes you say something like that?
That's what he told me he was going. He said he's gonna start there.
Well,
Why?
at least we,
Because we did all the other ways. We went starboard first. only paid me for. Barnabas only paid me for 2 months of searching.
Big Island. Well, what's your story, big fella?
Barnabas paid me to search for Island. Not much of a story. He kind of like turns to the rest of you and go, "Birds talk funny. Hurt my head."
I agree.
Does do you remember anything specific of the island that our friend was looking for? Besides it being a large island?
No, frickin' bird just kept saying Big Island as well. Really annoying.
Or I kind of like face palms, like, yeah, that sounds about right.
Every island we come to, Big Island, Big Island. Bitch, I don't know.
I hear a little Charlie Cholo creeping in there.
Yep, Rachel's about to remember. Bitch, I don't know.
Richa, do not
Jesus.
repeat that phrase. No, Richa, no.
It's too late.
Yes, Richard.
But she can
Too late.
try. But
Nori
Rashi can
just goes,
try.
"Oh no."
Oh dear.
Do you happen to remember how much supplies they had when they left?
He looks to you and goes, "Haven't been traveling long with Bird Friend, have you?"
They eat fish, so it's basically the ocean is their.
Well, no, he's asking Amaric.
No, not really.
Bird people, very good at catching fish. Don't need supplies. Supplies way shipped down.
What about clean water?
He kind of scans your group. Looks at you, Nori. Points to you. He has one of those on board.
Is he
Druid?
pointing to my neck?
No, he's not pointing to your neck.
I don't
So he looked at me and said, "Has one of those."
Maybe a druid?
Yeah, nature people.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, he would have no trouble going for as long as he needed.
Who?
He got a few different people to go on his ship with him.
Oh, he has like his own little crew.
Were they all bird people?
Well, yeah, he doesn't know how to fucking pilot a ship. Are you kidding me? Motherfucker thinks everything is a big island.
Or she's like giggling, but she kind of feels bad.
If I saw his map once, it just said Big Island crossed out over everything.
Rachel just nods and like looks contemplatively like, yep, that's him.
Or like looking over. It's like, Richard, you guys left your home to your species to Hihu.
Let's out of character because I don't think I could say it correctly. We'll just say there's a reason why we went in pairs.
Where? Make sure you have your line buddy at all times.
So obviously someone was holding the other half of the brain that day when he was traveling.
They have the thing they've called talking sticks, or talking, when there's a big group of people and you have to be holding the talking thing to be able to talk. Well, the Kenkus had the thinking sticks, And only one person can hold it at a time.
To be
Can you share
fair,
a brain
I
cell?
I can't actually share it, but there's a reason why he went off on its own.
Yep, no one's ever really asked the connection with Hihu.
Because Racha is smart, and he was like, I can't handle this shit.
Pretty Bird doesn't get any love.
Pretty Bird doesn't get one-on-one conversations by Bryn.
No, Pretty Bird doesn't get one-on-one conversations because everyone just gets a headache about 3 sentences in talking to him.
I had to force the one out of Nori.
Except Amric, apparently. Amric has no trouble.
Well,
Emmerich can have a little bit of trouble, but he's got
That's more of the
Right.
player rather than the character.
that.
while they're talking, can Bryn try to take a step forward? Now, see if it hurts the spot anymore.
It doesn't hurt the spot anymore. It just feels like someone has their hand on your chest, not letting you go forward.
And if she tries to move forward, does she notice anything with him? Like if he...
No, it literally feels like there's an invisible force that's holding you back.
Okay.
Just your chest. Like you can kick a foot a little bit ahead of you if you want to, but
I'm
something's
trying to
holding your
see, like,
torso.
If it's affecting him if I try to get closer to, I guess.
Even if it was like a contested strength check, do you think you're beating him?
No, I just want to see if like there's anything that I don't know.
Homeboy's 7'6" and 450.
I'm not saying I would beat him.
You're saying, like, if there was any, like, sign of resistance in his face, like, he was...
Yeah, something like he's doing it.
Nope.
Or is it just...
The small singe of the mark that's going on his chest that started at the beginning, but nothing since then. And he doesn't even seem to be reacting to it at all.
Might we ask one more question of you, sir?
That was one, but yes.
Touche. Would you be able to point us in the direction of someone named Anari?
Barnabas stuff.
Yeah.
Of course.
This stuff.
Yeah, hold on. He kind of...
This is what...
He takes a step forward, and this pushes you back a step, Bryn.
Ought to be the big 10-foot fucking Minotaur cat thing.
He looks over towards the beast and whistles. And it comes down, and you guys feel the impact and the shake of it. And it kind of walks over, and he starts making a couple different noises of... And it just kind of... And then it, like, leans down to him, and he pats the back of its head. And you see it just kind of... and throws up, and a carcass falls out. Very much digested.
Oh.
And you see tufts of hair off the half-digested face of a female Goliath.
Oh.
And he kind of pats the beast on the side of the head and gives it a little bit of a headbutt, and then walks over to the carcass, pushing you back another step, Bryn. Grabs it by the neck and kind of just holding, like, a couple fingers are, like, in the spinal column, and the rest are holding the neck, and kind of holds it up and kind of gestures and tosses it towards Kaporin.
What?
You're one of the tallest ones around here. Amric and Bryn are in the back.
Amric said he was kind of hanging back, so you're the tallest.
So Todd just watching the whole thing is like, what happened?
Make a dex save, Kaporin, if you're either trying to catch it or you're trying to get out of the way.
Staying in the back has a 50-50 chance. Either you get lightninged or you avoid dead bodies.
Kaporin's
Nori is
grammar.
horrified by the body, but is fascinated by the cat thing.
19.
Okay, what are you trying to do? Catch it or get out of the way?
Kaporin is disgusted at the body, so he's trying to dodge it.
Okay, so the body gets thrown and you and kind of like sidestep out of the way, just as it just kind of slurps and kind of crumples, and the juice and gastric fluid is just kind of all seeping around it and starting to creep off of it a little bit as it sits there on the floor. Turning to you, Richa, and answering your question, and he takes a step back towards the house, and Bryn, you feel a little bit of ease up on your chest. She tried to renege on her deal.
Oh. Well, that's. Rashi kind of looks at Nori and Richard is like, that's gonna make it hard to collect the tax that he wanted.
Wait, does
You guys are stuck with that job? That's why she tried coming after me. Thought she wouldn't have to pay if I wasn't around anymore. Our deal was, she pays me, I leave her alone. Cause she owed she owed money to the wrong people, huh?
Yeah, Barnabas definitely qualifies as wrong people.
Well, you can have her.
I don't think we want her, to be honest.
Maybe we take a finger or article if she has a ring or something to show Barnabas that we tried, and that we like proof of death or something.
I don't think it was her we were collecting the tax from. She was going to point us to someone else.
Oh, right.
is there anyone
to
else
be fair,
on?
I wasn't paying attention really when he was talking. I was trying not to like kill him.
Is there anyone else on the island that you know of connected to Barnabas?
Not that I know.
Great to be able to speak to a dead person right now.
If we wait 24 hours or a long 8 hours, I can speak with Dead, and we can ask her.
Or her house was up at the base of the volcano if you want to go try and figure it out.
Oh, that's much better. Thank you, sir.
For speak with Dead, do you just need like does it? I've never actually used that spell or seen the spell.
You
Need like
need
the
at
person
least the head.
Yeah. I needed I needed the head, and B, I need a long rest so I can switch my third level spells.
So I hope like Kaporn in game would know that. Kaporn just kind of like
it's a third level spell. So clerics don't get the like I rested for an hour and got some spells back. It's a full rest, then we can change our spells.
You've never dealt with Talk with Dead yet, so you would not know Kaporin.
oh no, okay.
If you're asking in character, I can repeat what I just said too.
He's talking more of the I need the head situation.
Yeah. Just like do we take it? Do we like Kaporn doesn't want to leave a dead body in the middle of the street.
Everyone looks to Racha in his bag. Hold 7 comfortably.
Not that big.
Well, we could move her body off to the side, but we don't need to take it with us. I would prefer to check her house before using a spell to talk with her. You know.
I'd say take the body now, or prepare not to see it again. Baby's hungry.
Yeah, Kaporn looks over at the creature.
Rashi will go over and attempt to remove her head, because that's the only part that I need for Speak with Dead. I just need the mouth part.
Okay.
She's gonna try and do it respectfully, but she just needs the head.
Well, it's still pretty connected as far as like tendons and such go, so it takes a bit, and eventually you just end up having to step on the neck and snap it off.
Yeah, respectfully though.
Of course,
You know,
respectfully.
It's not like she went and tried to like twist it off. She's the cleric. She does know how the body works.
So
Emmerich will remember this.
Eventually.
But you hear her mutter though before she does it.
A crunch and a
you don't know what
squish.
it is, but she's muttering like a prayer or like like thank you, or whatever. You don't know what she's saying because it's under her breath, but
Mhm.
she doesn't just go over there and crunch on.
After a few moments, a crunch and a squish, and the head comes off. And as she starts to turn around, with the spinal column no longer keeping the contents of the head up there, nice bit of liquefied brain starts to kind of spill out underneath. But nonetheless, you have the head.
And then, Val, I had a question. When he said we're stuck with that job, was he trying to imply something more, or was it we're stuck with her job since she's now dead?
Make an insight check with disadvantage.
While Bryn's doing that, Rashi will kind of wait for the drippings to stop and
Kind of shaking it a little bit, make sure all of it comes out.
You hear her like muttering. She's muttering prayers of some kind because cleric or whatever.
Bryn, you're a little bit stuck on the whole head dripping juices situation.
Sorry. Yeah, this is a new
So-
side you've never seen.
Something tells me no amount of prayers will fix those funeral rites.
It is funeral rites though. That like it's a you just no one's ever seen her do anything like that before because no one's traveled with her been around her long enough to know if she's ever done stuff like that before.
I really
So-
hope this is her first decapitation.
I mean, you'll have to find out if this is the first time she's had to do last rites or do strange things to get information.
She
for
took off the head pretty quickly, so
Interesting
you're
part.
guessing probably not.
Efficient but respectful, but she will look at Rich Hot and go, "It holds 7 comfortably."
Porn kind of takes like the leftover cloth from the doll and kind of like just wrap whatever he can of the head, and just like Ew.
She will take the cloth from you and do it herself and go, "I'm really sorry, everyone. It's not something. I don't enjoy desecrating the bodies, but sometimes you have to do certain things to get information, and this is going to be our backup plan if we don't find what we need in her house."
As you're saying that, you just hear as the body is now being swallowed by the creature behind you.
Nori's gonna
She
go,
cringes
"What?
as she says that. And
What are they?"
also,
And then, after it's done swallowing, just starts licking the fluid of the head stuff that came out off the ground.
Nori's gonna ask, I'm not gonna try to pronounce it because I misspelled it on my thing. What are they? And gesture to the beast.
Bromelo.
that explains the whole part. That was out of character, sorry.
Big sons of bitches. Good for many things.
They're very big.
This is the runt.
Oh wow.
But couldn't get rid of her. She grew on me. And then you just see him kind of, as it's finishing up, licking up the brains and such, he kind of like rubs the hind quarter and kind of pats it a couple times, and he kind of turns around and licks his face right after licking up the brain goo. And you see little bits of it kind of stuck against like the side of his neck, as the tongue is like as large as his head. But it goes and it like curls around behind him and like lays down and like shoves its head underneath his arm.
I want Porn just watch this display and doesn't want to pet it anymore. He was gonna pet it earlier, but
Nori will kind of nod and smile at the beast. You just keeping in mind, this is its food. It was just eating. It doesn't mean malice by this. This is just it eating food.
You have to tell yourself that some little times.
Yeah.
Other information, because I'm tired from doing that right now.
Nori gently pats Rashi on the back.
Yeah, I think they're about the same height too, so it is actually.
Nori's a little
perfect on
taller.
the back. But
Yeah.
you're not that much taller though, like maybe an inch or two.
I'm 5'6".
Yeah, I'm 5'4", so it is actually on her back.
But yeah,
oh, they could be.
Varid is kind of just tending to his beast. Kind of like looks at you guys like, anything else?
Rashi will look at Kaporin and like back to Bryn. Is that it, Kaporin? You're good at keeping track of this stuff. Well, kind of.
Kaporin's like counting on his fingers, like person, he who, boat. I think we're good for now.
If it's past 5 fingers, we're fucked.
He has another hand.
So where exactly is this house?
Only house at base
ba-
of volcano.
Okay,
Only stupid
which
enough
direction?
to live there.
makes sense.
It's a
Just
volcano.
follow the road and kind of points to his right, to your guys' left. The road that kind of that cuts through the dock and the town. It trails off into the forest behind him.
Follow the dark creepy road.
Thank
Follow-
you, sir,
follow
for
the road.
your assistance. And Rashi will.
So was
try
that
to offer him
her
a
job,
roll.
collecting tax? I've been trying to ask this question for a while. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Was she? Yeah. Was she collecting taxes from people? Many people on this island. Was that her job that now we've taken over, or is she in charge of just one specific person for him?
Kind of looks over at you, kind of not dismayed, but more of bothered that he has to talk to you. And kind of goes, not sure what she was dealing with. I just know she owed me money. Oh no! Amric died.
Amric has been like, I'm done with this shit. Bye.
Check out my crib.
Every time I pick up my laptop, the screen just goes, so it drops the camera.
It's an inside look at MTV Cribs.
He's just focusing now on giving scritches to his baby.
One last thing. And
Always one last thing with the birds.
he just nods and is like,
Big
dangerous
island.
cat, dangerous cat people. Tabaxi.
Oh, that's a new one. No tabaxi here.
And he'll gesture towards like the sunset, like out there, with Hihu.
Not with he who, at least not on his crew.
Encountered.
There's a couple tabaxi that run different pirate ships. Not sure if they're on that island or not, though. I'm sure your fucking friend could just annoy him to death, though, if he really needs to.
How big ship?
He kind of, not really paying attention to you, kind of like looks over quickly and like, well, her poops can get pretty big. And he like opens up his arms and like makes like maybe like a 4-foot distance between the two.
Ship, boat.
Oh, that's more okay. That makes sense. Ship he who has decent sized fishing vessel, 20 feet long. Crew of 4 besides the bird. Three Goliaths, 1 Triton, I think, when I saw them departing.
He'll just like look contemplatively and nod. And thank you. Goodbye. I love you.
Why do all birds fucking say I love you?
I don't know, sir, but she will attempt to give him a couple gold for his time if he takes it.
He just shakes his head no. and kind of just puts his hand up. Other bird kept saying, "Love you, baby," every time he wanted to leave.
Yeah, the bird language is weird to me too.
Anyway, you guys have fun. And he kind of just pats the beast, and it goes around to the back of the hut. And you just see its head kind of poke up on top of it as it's now resting its chin on top of the hut.
I guess we're off into the sketchy woods.
We're
Rashi
going
will
to
walk
search-
towards Bryn first and ask, "Are you okay?"
Yeah. Yes.
Do you need healing or something? Your chest was kind of glowy.
Oh, you don't see hers.
Oh, well, I mean.
She's got armor and everything on.
Oh, never mind then. Okay, strike that last comment, but she'd still ask if you were okay because she didn't know why you couldn't come forward.
He's preoccupied with his little animal. Is she still pushed back the 15 feet? She can't get close enough.
As he walks into the house and away from you, you can walk forward.
She wants to see if that barrier's still there, even if his back's turned, kind of thing. She's not going to try to get too close, but she just wants to see, like...
Yeah, you can't get within 15 feet of him. But it's an interesting thing as you like walk forward and you hit that, you kind of are like walking in place. And Kaporan's behind you going, "Who? Who? Who? Who?"
Nice.
I was confused for a second. I'm like, why are you
It's now
pretending to
Billie
be an
Jean.
owl?
Billie Jean.
Yep.
Kaporan just cast what is it?
No,
Cast
no, no, no,
lights.
no, no. Nori stops you from casting a spell.
You're in a place where magic probably isn't a problem, seeing as how druid crafted
That's true.
a
Kaporan,
We're
crown of
still
flowers.
paranoid.
Oh,
Kaporan's noticed that it's probably fine, but everyone else doesn't.
So Bryn's
That's
walking
true.
like forward, hitting this barrier and just in place, kind of like digging into the dirt. And all of a sudden, Dancing Light MJ, like backwards, moonwalks up next to her, and they're both like walking in place in different directions.
what are you doing?
Rachel brings out his mage hand to be the singular glove on Light MJ.
Rashi just kind of shakes her head and looks at Amric and kind of just shrugs, like, I don't know what the hell's going on. Like, sorry you're into this too. Kind of like a nonverbal, like, I'm sorry.
I didn't know when I left the tribes that everyone would be really weird.
Welcome to the club.
I probably was less weird before meeting up with all of them.
Rashi just seems a little chaotic at the moment, and she just tore off that lady's head.
I did not tear it off. I crushed her windpipe and removed it as quickly and efficiently as I could.
And she's over there like
When-
wrapping the head.
using
Yeah,
my
I wasn't
medi-
as weird
using-
before I met them.
Using my medical knowledge, because this is a backup if we do not find what we need at her house. If we do it when we rest, I have a spell that will allow me, hopefully, to get answers from her if we don't find what we need. However, I do need the part of her that would issue speech, which would be her head. You clearly
Okay.
have not been around too many medics.
Kaporan just kind of walks up behind Rashi and taps her on the back. It's like, yep, that sounds good.
How do you walk up behind her when she was talking face to face at you?
Walks over to the side and just
Sneaky.
taps them.
Right?
Just make him roll stealth with his terrible, terrible dex.
He has MJ just come over and tap her on the back. But it does absolutely nothing.
It's just like a light bulb bouncing off of her. Well,
So,
we should probably make our way to her house.
okay. So you guys head down the road towards the volcano base house.
Yep.
We're about to do some
Dun,
sketchy shit.
dun, 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 dun.
One walking montage later. It's
Or
ba-
coconut montage. It could be a coconut montage.
It's about an hour of a walk. After you guys leave the edge of the town, You aren't. I mean, the road still goes, but it goes from much less traveled to a much more narrow, more walking path than an actual road. But it does continue on traveling through. Um, it splits off every now and again, but in the direction that it splits off, you can tell it's even more less traveled, and it's not in the direction of the volcano. Which, now that you guys have gone out of the town and skirted the side of the forest, you can actually see. It's not a very large one. It doesn't stand out horizon-wise. There's actually vegetation and trees that grow that are taller than it. Uh, but you do see at least the black rock along one side of it. As you guys are walking towards it, about it looks probably maybe one half of it is all volcanic rock that whenever it erupted, however long ago it was, cleaned out only one side of it, while the trees and such were able to grow around the other side. There is no smoke coming from it. There is no visible lava or anything. It's probably a long dormant volcano. Um, but you do see it as you guys are traveling along, helping you keep to the right paths as you're continuing along. After the hour, you do come across another split. One split turns into another smaller walking path that goes, it looks like, into the forest and then possibly leads directly up to the volcano, while another one breaks off to the right of the volcano a little bit, but you can see there seems to be some sort of domicile that resides at the end of this road. So using this as probably the house that you guys are looking for, you come up to it, and it's a very small log cabin-esque type of situation, probably a studio style inside, just one room. But it looks to be decently old, but sturdy in construction. Overgrown with a little bit of the vine and such from the nearby trees right behind it. So the back end of it is kind of like being overtaken by the forest. Or more jungle than forest. But the front half of it, there seems to be some skins that are being dried, but it looks like they're long past the point where they should have been taken off as they're starting to crack. There is no front door. It looks like there was a front door at some point, but it is ripped off its hinges. And it's got a little bit of a deck. It's got a couple steps that go up to a deck and a doorway. On the deck, a couple of the steps and some floorboards are all busted in as if a large fight happened to have gone down. And specifically in one portion off to the left of the doorway, there is a giant concave of the floorboards that have got smashed in. You're not sure if this was a collision of some sort from maybe some body, or, judging by the size of it and the size of the creature that you just had interactions with, possibly a paw went here. Nevertheless, it seems to be empty and abandoned. If you guys want to go in or not.
Nori's gonna cast Detect Magic.
Nothing.
Rich
Well, I'm gonna
will,
keep it up.
Richa will do his little flip open his pole of collapsing into its 10-foot distance and just start poking around investigating.
Okay, you just poking around the ground?
Yeah, well, the deck is a little interesting to him, that it's hollow, so he's probably gonna like peek around under there a little bit, and then like checking for traps and stuff, because this person was probably a very careful person, being reclusive and stuff.
Okay, make an investigation check. Looking around at the floors and for possible traps, you don't seem to see anything, and though the floorboards are hollow, this seems to be more of a structural choice than it does like anything else. Hollow wood doesn't hold moisture as much, so it has less chance of rotting and sagging. But other than that, nothing, at least on the outside, seems to be trapped or warded or of any danger. Besides maybe
Okay.
some splinters.
Does it look like the front door is closed or busted in?
Front door has been ripped off its hinges.
Okay.
He'll look back towards everybody and just sort of thumbs up and go, "Seems good," and then head on in just to look around.
Okay.
After we get there, Amric will pull out the wood that he sectioned off, and he said he'll say that to the group. If you all don't mind, I have something I'd like to do while the memory's fresh, and he'll go back to attempting to make a statue.
All right. D20 plus your dex and proficiency.
Sure, you could stay watch outside, I guess.
Kaporin and 3 little miniature MJs approach the indoor, head inside.
You can only make
better than last
you can
time.
only make an MJ if you have all of them together.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
So 3 little ball light.
It's not a blob. It looks like some sort of bipedal or quadrupedal creature.
I'm making one of the turtles from the creep.
Oh, okay. So it looks like a blob, with fins.
I mean, to be fair, that's really what a turtle looks like unless you're up close.
Progress.
It's a blob with fins.
It's gonna be like one of those shark deterrents where like a shark is an approach dolphin silhouettes.
Oh, yeah.
Corin.
Kaporin was gonna make a little drawing of a turtle, so for a reference for Amric, and that didn't go so well.
Yeah, you broke your
Cool.
quill.
He doesn't know what I'm making.
Well, he did it anyway, and he broke his quill.
I broke my quill.
Go ahead and get rid of
R.I.P. Quill.
that. Okay, so who's all going inside?
Rashi will follow Richa inside, still holding the skull wrapped in cloth.
Kaporin's going inside too.
Nori will carefully go inside.
Before Bryn goes inside, she'll just tell Emmerich, I'm sure if we need you, you'll hear us, and if you need us, we'll hear you.
And for the record, Nori does have detect magic up because it lasts for 10 minutes.
Yeah, you don't see any magic.
In response to Bryn, Amric says, indubitably.
So going inside, it is a mess in here. It has been thoroughly trashed, thoroughly ransacked. You see not only destruction of furniture, but also those that is still intact have been upturned, emptied of contents. Drawers are open, pulled out. It seems that it was a free-for-all inside here once the tenant was gone. But interestingly enough, the main thing that stands out to you all is the back wall. I told you the vines had started overgrowing the back of this. But the back wall is actually split open. And as you guys all kind of come in here and see the wreckage that is, vines have started also growing inside and kind of up the walls as well. With the level of decay on the body inside the creature, it's probably only been dead, or she's only been dead for a few hours.
So whatever. Wait. So can Kaporin investigate the crack in the wall?
You roll an investigation check.
Bryn wants to look if she has any ledger or something that would tell us about who the hell we need to collect this tax from.
All right, make an investigation check.
9.
Just waiting for Bryn. Okay. Looking around for any sort of paperwork that might have some sort of writing on it or something in the realm of being beneficial to you in any way, shape, or form. Looking through the drawers, looking through the stuff that's along the floor, nothing seems to come out. You're not even finding any paperwork with any writing whatsoever. The only papers that are here that remain are blank. But all in all, like I said, it seems to have been ransacked, and there's looks like 3 to 4 ink vials have all been spilt across the floor. About 10 pages. Some are just coated in ink as the vials have fallen on them. But about 9 pages or so are still clean enough to use. There's bedding that has been destroyed and ripped open. There are floorboards that seem to have been pried. Whoever went through this did a good job. Kaporin, as you're checking out the wall, the vines, the thickest one, probably about a good 2.5 to 3 inches thick, that are creeping their way through this crack. The crack itself sits about 5 inches wide and runs from ceiling to floor. You can see that some of the wood that is this back wall has started to bow and give in different directions. And as you're kind of standing there investigating everything, you can actually physically see the vines growing.
Guys.
As you say that, make a dex saving throw.
God damn it. While I'm rolling, can I mend my quill, by the way?
Nope.
Okay.
So, as you are turning around and saying, guys, the wall itself, as you all look towards Kaporin, the wall opens. It gets pushed side to side. The actual logs of this back wall seem to be almost pried, as if 2 hands kind of just like forced its way open, and you see this large black paw reach in and grab Kaporin and suck him right out of there, and then the walls close once more. That's where we're in tonight's session.
No!
I do have a quick question.
Yeah.
So that was pretty quick. So I wouldn't have seen it since I was outside, but I'm assuming I heard Kaporin say that.
You heard more of the noise of this back wall getting yanked open and then slammed close.
Would Amric have made the progress that he did with that roll?
Well, since you started with a blob and you were just making a blob with fins, yes. It's not that hard to put some fins on a blob.
Never hurts to ask. They'll get there eventually.
Before Kaporin said, guys, would Bryn have time to just use a little bit of water on this paper? Because maybe it's like the fancy ink that Nori has on her paper.
Yeah, I mean, Kaporin sat there and was like actually investigating it, so it takes a little bit of time. Go ahead.
I was gonna do something as well, but continue.
Pouring water on the paper, it just makes the paper get wet.
Figured we gotta try what we know.
Do the ones that had ink spilled on them look like it was purposeful or accidental?
No, the ink vial sits right next to it, and it looks like it just landed here.
All right. Then scratch that plan.
Okay. So, any questions?
Yes.
Any questions I will answer, sorry.
Was the size of the claw more or less than the cat that we
more
have pictured before? All right.
We were told it was the runt. Did it look like a similar paw?
Yeah.
Joy.
Before we leave, I should probably say I don't know how much. I'm moving out tomorrow, and the new place doesn't have any lights installed yet, so I might be dark next session. Who knows?
Dark Amric. Nega Amric. Amric B. Amric, flip side.
We'll just have to wait and see.
Shadow Amric.
Either that or I'll have like a floodlight and I'll be extremely bright. Get one
Turn up
end
the
of the
brightness
spectrum right
on your
now.
laptop so your face is
Heavenly Emmerich. All right, guys.
Point.
So, any other questions over here?
No, I got nothing. I'm
Okay.
generally all right.
Well, if you guys do have any questions or want to do something, feel free to message me, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If I don't talk to you all before then, you guys have a great week, and we'll see you Thursday.
All right, bye everyone.
Well, good
Night,
night.
guys.
Have a great night.
Night, y'all.
Thank you those that were with us. Have a great week. We'll see you Thursday. See what these guys get into. Actually, he flips the conversation and he goes, I've noticed a little thing between you and Brett.
What?
Nothing, nothing.
No matter what happens, I want you all to stay together, and I want you to do what you need to do to get out of here. Don't worry about me. Help as you can if you can. But mostly worry about yourselves, okay?
I'm not leaving you alone. You can do this.
If anything happens, I want to know that you will be okay.
I'll be safe.